Folks, turn those Zoom cameras on. This conference call is going live. This is Drips in the Office, episode 17, maybe. I'm John and Warren. I'm joined by I'm joined by Playoff Pat as of tomorrow. We all hope. How you doing, Pat?
Good. Thank you. Good. I would start a little better than that, but we're good. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking.
We're doing well. We've got a lot to discuss tonight. We finally, the drought is over. We finally got a KMS episode yesterday, featuring a 40-year-old intern who I like a lot.
I'm a Quidditch guy fan.
We've got an update on Pat's Plunkle. We've got work stories, as always, parking stories, kiddo stuff, and everything in between. But let me say this: I don't care how live we are. This will be the most boring part of your day, your night, your week, possibly your year. Pat, how you feeling?
Good. Listen, we have a lot of stuff that we can get to tonight, and I think we had an hour scheduled originally, but I don't want to break news. I'll probably let John do it, but we are actually going to be able to go for 2 hours tonight.
Right.
Gaming with Gus was scheduled at 10. And that's actually been picked up by the Yak Network. So that's going to be a live stream over there at Barstool. So we have an extra hour to kind of riff. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
John, how are you? How's everything? Good?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I got to tell you, there's been developments with the Plunkle story. I've seen some tweets about it. I'm excited to hear more about it. I thought maybe you'd kind of lay it out a little bit for those. I know there's very few people who don't know the story, but just in case, give us a little bit of background and then give us the update of what's going on with Plunkle.
Sure. Over the last few weeks, like this Plunkle situation kind of highlighted it for me. I think I have like crippling anxiety where I didn't want to tell him, hey, I still haven't come over and fixed the leak, but whatever. So mustered up the courage to ask him at a family cookout. He was like, yeah, I've been busy. I have all the pieces to fix it. I'll be over at some point this week. I'm sorry. I'll get there soon. I said, no, please, take your time. So everything went smooth. I felt okay about it. Like I didn't love the interaction because it was uncomfortable. And that's whatever. But shortly after that, I looked over and my wife was showing my cousin. I think she's my cousin. I don't really know how it works. There's a divorce mixed in there.
No.
Yeah, tough times. She was telling my cousin, like, oh yeah, he does this show with his friend. And like she's sitting over there and she's pulling it up and she's like, oh, I'm gonna watch. Guess who swoops in? Plunkle comes right in behind. He's like, "Oh, what what is this? You got?" I'm like, "Anybody want to play frisbee?"
Careful now. He's probably watching live as we speak. This is a possibility.
I don't think so, but that would be awful. That if he doesn't even know I call him Plunkle. If you're listening, I'm sorry. I just don't do well with situations like this. But the moral of the story is everything's resolved. The pipe is still leaking.
Has he come to the house?
No.
Okay.
And I'm in a worse spot now. Now I can't follow up like again and be like, hey, you
can't double follow up. Nope. You don't double follow up. Yep.
I'm going to trust in my heart of hearts that Plunkle will be here at some point this week and we will no longer be dripping. We'll always be dripping show wise, but the house, the foundation of the home will no longer be dripping.
So can you confirm that you never called back the actual plumber that you called live last episode?
Oh, I never called him back. No way. So I was going to, because I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I went upstairs and I told my wife, I was like, I called that guy from No Free As Roto Brooder, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And she's like, she was the one who was like, you can't. My uncle's going to be like, he'll be pissed. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you just want this taken care of or not? I hope when we sit here next Wednesday or whenever the hell we do the show next, because we're all over the place, I hope that Plunkle is here. We share some war stories and the house is in better shape than it was before. Do I think that's going to happen? No.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like you might be in deeper than you were before. I thought we were going to come on here tonight and you were going to say, oh, like I talked to him. It was awkward. He watched the show. But despite all of that, he's come to the house and, I'm not dripping anymore.
My worst fear in this whole situation is like he's in there like cutting the pipe or whatever you do, and he like looks over his shoulder. It's like, "Did I listen to your show?" Then I'll just die. At that point, I'll ask him to take a fucking wrench to my head and just put me out of my misery. I can't do that.
You know what this story made me realize, though? We could really use McDonald contracting. Montana.
We could. Yes. What a pull by him.
I know.
Listen, that's actually a pretty good deal. I think the basis of it is like $150 a month, and they come and just take care of your shit.
I was thinking about it. I actually think I might have him do it.
Mike, correct me if I'm wrong here, but shout out them. That's a huge plug. Well done, John. Pro move.
Big move, big move. Yeah, I mean, we can't do much. I mean, even yesterday, dude, I could barely work. Like, you ever have one of these days you're visiting spots, you're doing sales calls or whatever, you just feel flat. I felt very flat. It just like nothing was working. I'd do like my introduction, and they would just kind of look at me like, okay. And like, I went into this office and I walk in, the front desk lady's on the phone. I'm, giving her time. There's a cooking show on the TV. So I'm standing up, I'm kind of pacing, waiting for her to get off the phone. And on this cooking show, they're doing something. This lady's showing this guy how to make some crepe dish, right? Crepe. Okay, hold on. They were saying crepe. So boom, idea in my head. I go, oh, I know how I'm going to start with this lady. When she gets off the phone, I'm going to go, hey, do you say crepe or do you say crepe? Ha ha ha, because they just said it this way, that way. Anyway, my name's John. Here we go.
Did it land?
Oh, dude, I get up to her. She hangs up the phone and she looks at me pissed. Like pissed because the phone call probably went bad. Pissed because I'm staying in front of her and she's busy. The phone starts ringing again. I know in my heart of hearts, I should scrap the idea, like get rid of the idea. But I already agreed that that's what I was going to say. So she's like, what can I do for you? And I was like, do you say crepe or crepe? She literally goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. So then I had to like turn around and be like, oh, you didn't hear on the TV? They called it a crepe. I walked out of that office.
I would have left. I would be like, I'm sorry. I'll book another day.
I handed the business card and I was like, I know you're busy. I think I got to get out of here.
I'll tell you something, John. That sounds like a crepey situation.
It was, man, I was in a load of crap. I'll tell you that much. When I walked out, there was two other sales guys like waiting their turn. And I pulled the old, good luck with that one. And then
walked out. That is awesome. What did they say? Like, oh, shit.
I think one of them, which made me feel a little bit better, was like, oh, the front desk lady, she can be tough. So they must have gone in there before.
Not their first rodeo.
That's right.
Not their first rodeo. Right. No, I had a similar situation. Not the same, but I did an entire proposal today for a project we're working on. I got 8 people in a room on a call. I ran through all of it. And all 8 of them were like, yeah, this is pretty terrible. This is pretty awful. So
on what you put together or what?
You're terrible. The whole thing talked about. They're like, yeah, you totally missed the point. My boss was like, he's like, it's all right, we'll figure it out. It's not a hard fix. But everybody else is like, this is way off. I'm like, just put my head down. No camera, obviously. And then one of the people on the call was like, do you want to just kind of run through each one and like figure them out? And I was like, no, I'd like to go.
Wow. So you excuse yourself from the dinner table.
And I was like, I'll follow up with everybody tomorrow. I'm done for the day.
That's tough.
Tragic situation.
And it's
tragic.
But tell me a little bit more. Like, so it was, what were they saying was bad? Did it directly have to do with you and like what you put together?
Bingo, John. Yep. It's going to be the way I laid it out. The talking points I had, my answers to questions, all of it. We're going to scrap all of it. So that's fun. I've been working on this for 2 weeks. So that was a kick to the teeth. And I have many a cavity, which I'd like to get into because I kind of am on the side of like cavities being fake.
And it seems like people agree. I'm hearing chatter out there on the streets about cavities being an absolute myth. Dude, teeth are strong. Let me say that.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like I eat a lot. Like prior to my dieting days, I was a big Nerds Rope guy, and that stuff's tough on the teeth. So like I feel like those would have taken more damage. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Like I went to that guy's like, boom, you got 22. I went to another guy's like, you got almost 22. Like you guys should be on the same page. Like who's trying to scam more is kind of I don't appreciate any of it.
Well, the whole idea that you're going to a place where if they find them, they get paid more. Like that whole thing like doesn't seem like it should make sense. But what do I know?
True.
Yeah, so I don't know. Felt like at work I sort of had the yips, and unfortunately, I think you might have spoke the yips into the existence with your recent golf outing.
Disaster, John. Disaster. Last time we spoke, I told you that if I ever just started to suck at golf, like I suck at basketball, I would just end it. Might have to. Played in the Rhode Island Am this week. Fucking disaster right from the get-go. Started off double-double. Didn't make match play. It was so demoralizing. Plus, it was 127 degrees. I almost died out there. No one talks about that.
Do you get like when you're out there? Do you get visibly upset? Like, are you slamming a club, or are you kind of just containing it, and then you go home and scream at your kid?
I used to just snap a club over my knee every once in a while. That would make me feel better, but I don't know. I wasn't. I turned into like I'm not working. I'm playing like shit, but like at least I'm not working. But then I came back to work after the fact. But what an unmitigated disaster. Unmitigated disaster. I'm not going to kill myself. We have a big game tomorrow night, but if that falls apart too,
It's the only thing holding you together.
I can't put them together apparently. So it's just a whole mess.
I would absolutely love like a Jimmy style tweet, like an old video of you, from the trees, like looking at the tee box of you snapping a club over your knee. That would be fantastic.
There's probably a couple out there. I used to buy like backup shafts, to just replace it because I did it so frequently. It feels good. I don't know if anybody has ever done it.
I've never done it, but it looks like it would feel fantastic.
It's exhilarating.
I'll tell you what doesn't feel good. And this is another work blunder for me. I've told you before this lunch situation. Every single time I go to do like a lunch meeting with these people, something happens. It's a comedy of errors that these things keep happening to me. I'm done doing lunch no matter what, even if it's like the biggest account you'll ever meet. So I had scheduled this a while back because I already kind of told myself I was going to be done doing these lunches, but it was already on the calendar. The date came up. Mm-hmm. Haven't heard word one from this office. So this morning, and we're supposed to meet at 12 o'clock. This morning, I called the office. I talked to the girl, and I'm like, hey, we still on for lunch today? She goes, yeah, we're on. She goes, we haven't thought about what we might want. Do you have any ideas? And that kind of caught me off guard because I thought
that could be the golden goose.
Well, I don't live in that direct area, so I can't off the top of my head while on the phone with her be like, yeah, I want to go to what's it called? So real quick though, I remember the last time I went there, I got a coffee right after at LaSalle Bakery. No free ads, but LaSalle Bakery's fantastic.
Great spot.
Yeah, North Providence.
Cheapers.
So I go, oh, how do you guys like LaSalle Bakery? She's like, oh, that's a really good idea. I was like, yeah, they have sandwiches. I think they have some salads. Now, mind you, every time she's talked to me about this lunch, she's like, oh, let's just call him Dr. Smith. She goes, Dr. Smith does lunch on Wednesdays. She kept on saying, you're going to meet with Dr. Smith, and her. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, there's going to be Dr. Smith, there's going to be her, and maybe one other staff member, maybe like a front desk or whatever.
You can't get this one right, can you? Go ahead. How many people were there?
Can't get it right. So
it's going to be a goddamn
I'll get
flock.
There. So she agrees. She goes, we have nothing in mind. LaSalle Bakery sounds great. I go, how about this? Why don't you guys figure out what you want? Text me. I'll call it in. I'll pick it up. The whole shebang. All right.
Nice.
2 minutes later, I get a text. Hey, it's so-and-so from the doctor's office. Actually, we want piezonis. We want 4 chicken Caesar salad sandwiches. We want a large half cheese, half pepperoni pizza. We want garlic parm wings and mozzarella sticks and soda, enough for 7 people.
Listen, I know you're in the breast pump game, but they are milking you, buddy.
Pat, I'm glad you said that. I was going to forget this part. It was exciting. Dude, I'm getting milked bad. So I get there. So I do it. Whatever. $120 later, I do it. I get there. She goes, the break room's in the back. If you want to set it up, he's still with the patient. Pat, okay. I go into the break room to set all the food down. I look to my left. There is a stack of empty Piezonis boxes sitting there. So they're just milking reps left.
One after the next, after the next.
For Piezonis. And she was going to pretend that she wanted my LaSalle Bakery.
Do you think when she said like anything in her head, she was like, I hope he picks Piezonis, and if he doesn't,
that would be a wild card move though.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm just gonna pick Piezonis like out of anything.
Yeah, you got played. You're like 0 for 5 with these lunches here.
Yeah.
What's the solution? I'm
just gonna say we're not budgeting for lunches this month. Let me get back to you. I've been working this out in my head.
They think you're gonna be. Then they think like, oh, they have problems. Like, why am I going to these guys? They're obviously not selling.
I've thought about that too.
You got to find someone that does like a snack bag or like a grab bag. Obviously, you can't do Taco Bell. They have like
I'm just
12
not going to let
pack.
them have any choice in the matter.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do.
I'm
It
going
has
to
to be
pick it up.
generic.
I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to call and be like, hey, I'll see you at 12. I already got the food.
Now, if you use Salesforce, you could add to the notes of what kind of food you ordered for them last time, so it would pop up when you went there next.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So the account, there's a back and forth area in Salesforce where the account and I can communicate.
No, I'm saying like if you went there this one time and they're like they like piezonis, boom, you log it in there in your notes, and then you see it next time.
Yeah. Oh, Pat, I'm taking notes, dude. Don't worry about me. I'm taking notes.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
Speaking of, I can hear your kid running around upstairs.
I don't think it's ever going to end. He just doesn't sleep. You want to get into the pool? You want to get into the kids at this point?
Oh, I would love to.
It's a two-parter. The second part's more embarrassing, but we were in the pool on Monday after golf, played terrible, so I was in a mood. And I got out of the pool quick to go grab towels. And it was unexpected pool, so there was no bathing suit. So we just said, let's just throw him in there. I'll put his floaties on, butt naked, living butt wild and free.
Yeah.
I just hear, I'm in the garage grabbing towels. I hear my wife just scream, no, not in the pool, not in the pool.
Which is probably something you tell him all the time. Like, hey, buddy, we don't poop in the pool. You got to alert us if you need to go.
Obviously, we don't drive it home well enough because he walked up on the ladder, hoisted his hands on both sides of the ladder, and just let a turd fall.
Like my a squat situation?
He was just, I wasn't there. We didn't really talk about positioning. My wife, I tell you, good on her. She was skimming the pool at the time, skimming all the dirt. She fucking one motion drops the skimmer right under and catches the turd the second before it hits the water. Now that's what she says. It might have hit the water, and I don't know. But I loaded that bad boy up with shock and chlorine right after. But my God, it was just one after the next.
That is I was definitely thinking he was swimming around and it just kind of snuck. So she caught this. The story goes she caught this thing.
Correct. But then she had like her initial thought was like, you know, when you're skimming a pool and you got a bunch of shit, like you bang it on the side of the pool so it drops out. She did that. So I looked out and there's like a turd on the side of the pool. I'm like, oh, geez, I have to clean that up. But that's better than being in the pool. But yeah, it was like, it would have been Sports Center top 10 if that thing was on tape.
So you've been scraping up your child's poop out of the grass, dead birds, rabbits, anything else you can think of.
And then while we're here, might as well just air it out. Today, probably a couple hours before this, I farted and it wasn't fully a fart. Also caught it, but I caught it before it soiled the trousers.
With the skimmer?
Pinch. No, with the cheeks. I just did a quick pinch. But yeah, no, it's been a really shitty week in that sense. See what I did?
Well, I can throw one right back at you. So I had a bachelor party up in Portland, Maine this past weekend, which I'm still tired from, especially because we went from the 4th of July, which was a Thursday, obviously. And then that morning I started heading straight up to Portland. So it went from right into 4th of July to this bachelor party.
Okay.
So we have fun, Portland's always great, but I get home on Sunday. I'm beat up. I'm really, really tired. Right when I get home, my wife has bunko that Sunday. They usually have it on Saturdays, but of course, I think probably because of the 4th and people had cookouts and stuff. Go. Be careful. You're looking.
Hey, brother. What is bunko? Hey, brother.
Brother.
Poor guy.
Seems like a nice kid. We've talked about bunko. It's once a month, every Saturday. My wife and all her girlfriends, they get together at someone's house. It's some like dice game.
Oh yeah, we have talked about this. Yeah. I apologize.
But of course, it falls on the Sunday I get home from the bachelor party, and she's got to go as soon as I get home. So I'm talking. I walk in the door, I drop my bag, and she hands me the children. So I haven't even I can't even sit down. I go to a couple hours go by. I go to put the younger one down to bed. While I'm rocking him, I hear the older one scream, similar to your situation upstairs right now. But it was a scream where I'm like, oh, I have to actually go out there, even though I'm trying to put this one to bed. He's in the bathroom. So I put Tucker in the crib just for a minute, even though I know he's going to cry because he's not sleeping yet. I open the bathroom door and my son is just standing on the bathroom floor and he's looking at something. And there's just a pile. I thought my dog threw up, dude. It was just an absolute pile. And he's like, I pooped. And then I look at him a little bit closer. And his legs are just covered in shit. Like he's standing on like the shower rug, like the one you step on once you get out of the shower. So there's shit on that. Oh, dude, it was. I kind of wiped him down a little bit, wiped his ass, threw him right in the tub.
Yep.
But it was just almost a perfect. Like it was almost like I deserved it. It's like you want to go away for the weekend, like you leave your wife with the kids for a bachelor party. This is what you get when you come home.
That's a hell of a welcome home. That really is. Oh, John, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it couldn't have gone any better, I suppose. I knew something like that was going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why don't you tell me what's going on with do you own a comedy club in Dallas? What's happening here? Or do you just own the parking lot?
I own the whole thing. I've owned it for years. So with the show being off, it was just it's always the worst week when the show's off for the entire week. But obviously I listen to Mike on Sundays. And this Sunday I listened very intently on the Stuttering John drama that was going on.
Sure.
And
yeah.
usually I just hear it and I enjoy it. I don't really know much about it. But I said to myself, I'm like, listen, I got nothing going on this week. Let's see what this is all about. I'm hooked.
Yeah, you're in.
I'm hooked. I'm hooked like you read about. This guy's fucking crazy. The craziest person. He would. I don't even know how to compare it to like the Minifans. Like he's just.
I can try. He almost reminds me of Steve from Gloucester a little bit.
Correct. He almost kind of looks like him.
Yeah, well, that was where I started, and then when you started doing the super chats, which I'm sure you'll get to in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was believing everything, and even like other Minifan comments, Steve, God love him, but he always seemed so gullible to me, where he would believe anything, and that's what I get from Stuttering John.
Stuttering John has beef with everyone in his universe, everyone in the Dabbleverse, except for like. The legend who he's buddies with, who always super chats him. He's got about 5 or 6 people he's close with. Everybody else he fucking hates. They go after his mother, who's 89 years old. She's always in the background. Everybody's after his mom. They're sending stuff to his house. He's next level crazy. And for me, that was just so perfect.
That's like schizophrenic level, though. Like when the whole world...
He's a schizo. He keeps like saying like, oh, I'm a scumbag. I bought my mother Yankees tickets. You ever been to the Yankees game? Actually, I got the tickets for free, but I actually paid for it. It never ends with this guy. And it's 2 hours every day of just... What he does is he rants for 20 minutes and then hundreds of people super chat him. He's a genius is what he is. He might not actually be crazy, because he's got guys like me sending him $5 so I can type more characters.
And but before the Minifans and like the Mike Geary situation started, were people super chatting him to fuck with him anyway?
Correct. Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah.
okay, I figured.
Yeah, it's been the whole thing.
Okay.
But like most of them aren't like to fuck with him like I was. Like most of them are like, we hope you die, John. It's a rough crew.
Yeah.
So I wound up super chatting him $5, and I said something like, Kirk Minahan is, he's with you. He's against Blind Mike. You guys should team up. And he's like, Patrick Ford. That's the guy that you're the guy that owns the comedy shop in Dallas that had to cancel my gig because they were threatening to Yelp your location. I got no hard feelings with you. You're a good guy. I understand your perspective, blah, blah, blah. So I just keep every day now. He's got me hooked. Every day I send something in, like send my best to your mother. And he's like, thank you, Patrick. You're a class act. Like that guy's unbelievable. He buys anything.
That clip is unbelievable. The one you sent me, the one you basically just quoted, but it's so the way he said, it's like you're an old buddy. Patrick Ford, that's my man.
Patrick Ford, that's my guy. He's a one of a kind. But like it gets worse. Like if I was just watching him and watching Mike, it'd be one thing. But when you type in Stuttering John on YouTube, your algorithm gets brought into an entire new world called the Dabbleverse. This is what Mike always talks about. So I knew about it. There are like 10 people plus who do shows for like 2 hours after his show, just playing his entire show and just like stopping it and be like, he's a fucking liar. He's a piece of shit. Like, I hate when John does this. But they have 2,000 people watching them, super chatting them.
Dude,
These guys are
people doing
making
a show about a
$1,000 a
show.
show
Are they
about
fucking nuts?
it's true. Well played, John. But yeah, like I found myself like during the peak of the break, I am watching a man who has a filter over his face as a potato.
And this is one of his part of
Just
the
talking about it's one of Mike's buddies, and then I reached out to Mike. I was like, who should I listen to? Like, I'm so hooked. He's like, this is a good guy, and now I'm hooked on that guy. It's scary. No, it's now my life's gonna become more challenging because KMS is 9:30 to 11:30, roughly.
Oh God.
Stuttering John goes live at 12, but sometimes he goes live at 12 to fuck with people and doesn't go on till 2. So I find myself, along with 200 other people, just in the comments watching them bash him. Like, you fucking liar, you're late. Like, what all the people do in KMS chat, like, you're late. They're doing it to him. Like, you're late, asshole. I hope you die. I'm like, this is crazy.
Are you finding like chat buddies? Like, are you starting to recognize the names in the chat and be like, oh, what's like, what's
Yes,
up?
there are
Potato Head
certain
5?
ones like the legend super chats every once in a while, $100, like just a novel about how John's a great guy. And then Penis Wrinkle, who's also part of Mike's world, he hates John. Yeah, I've started to notice people, but now Mikey Grabbags is in the mix. Phenomenal parody song, by the way. The guy's a machine.
Yeah, so good.
David Maryland's in the mix. Justin's in there. That was
I saw
great.
David Maryland in there, by the way. But I know other people said it on Twitter, but it was pretty funny that Blind Mike couldn't recognize that the actual singing was AI.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? The guy has a beautiful voice. What are you talking about?
He claims it's not AI though. I think it's like auto-tune.
Oh, I thought he was typing the lyrics.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe he's doing that, but he says no. He says it's not AI. Because
I almost wonder if now
it was.
you can sing now, and AI. I understand you're saying auto-tune, and that's a form of it, but I wonder if it's a little bit more advanced now, where you sing it. Not only does it add auto-tune, but it adds pitch and whatever. Although I think auto-tune is just pitch correction. I'm pretty sure.
I haven't been looking at the comments too frequently. I've been peeking over every once in a while, but Hackride's in the chat. Hackride's a huge Hackride, Chevy, Luke, the whole crew. Hackride's Mike's guy. Now we're crossing into the Dabbleverse here.
I'm a little bit worried about it.
This is a lot. I'm backing out of the comments.
This is a dangerous time for you to be getting involved in another world. Like, you're gonna have
that's
to
what I'm saying. I'm gonna go from 9:30 to 11:30. And obviously my work product sucks. So like I need to improve on that, but I'm not gonna be able to do that while I'm like hooked on super chat. So like 9:30 to 11:30, then John goes live at noon, and then I have to rewatch Kirk's show. And then I have to get into these fucking like other shows that talk about John. And then I have to go back to Kirk's show. I think I'm gonna do the third time before the show on the next day.
You still haven't gotten to where I thought you were gonna go. You mentioned all of those things, and you're forgetting you're gonna have a newborn in like 2 minutes. Like that.
I think that'll make it easier.
Oh, like you'll be off work.
Always have the AirPod in. Like, I can't have a conversation with her, but yeah, it could make things worse.
I mean, you'll be deep in that.
They're not on audio. Yeah, they're not on audio. They're YouTube only. These guys. So I got to be watching. I got to see how the potato, what his mannerisms are. It's fucking crazy.
Keep me away from it. That's all I got to say.
The problem is, John, you would love it.
Oh, I know, and I can't. I just can't do it. I can barely pay attention to things as it is. Which, remember I talked about the intern last time, right?
Yes.
How I sort of had an intern. Turns out, so I met him. Really nice kid.
Handsome.
Good-looking guy. Lacrosse kid. He's got a flow going. Kind of like cool guy glasses too. But I like it. But the funny part is, when I was telling you before, bless you, dabbing,
dabble.
There it is. My understanding was that this guy had this project to do over the summer, and I was there to give him like guidance if he had questions and things like that.
Okay.
Except I'm talking to this guy, and I go, we're talking about ideas, because just to kind of remind you, bring you back up to speed. The idea is he wants to identify a problem that we might have in sales or marketing, and he would try to come up with a helpful solution and then write up like what he thinks about this solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go, yeah, so at the end of it, who are you presenting the your project to? Like who at your school, or are you presenting it to someone here at the company? And he goes, I'm presenting it to you.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I completely misunderstood this entire assignment. So I'm there the whole time figuring this out with him, and then he has to do an official presentation to me for his fucking, it's like an MBA.
That's not fair that you help him, though. You should just be like, listen, I don't want to break the rules. God bless you. Godspeed.
I think I'm supposed to help him identify what that problem would be. Like, what are things that I face? Now, I haven't told him about my crepe and crepe situation yet. If I do that, that is a problem.
That could be a conversation starter.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah,
that's tough. That's tough. So you dictate his grade?
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
You're like me. Just give him an A. Like, fuck it. He doesn't want to do it either.
He's not telling me he doesn't even have to do it.
Yeah, that could lead into my intern story today. So obviously, all hell was breaking loose. Everybody's like, "You're terrible." He was on the call too, and he messaged me after. He's like, "Anything I need to do?" Because I worked in Rhode Island today. He was in Boston.
You were like, "Yeah, get the rope."
No, I was like, "No, nothing." He's like, "It's 2:00." I'm like, "You're good for the day. Just jump on the 4:30 and just enjoy your day. Like, I got nothing for you. My brain's fried."
Isn't he? Who is he related to again?
One of the partners.
You don't get worried when you just give him the rest of the day.
I don't care. I don't fucking care. Everybody thinks they suck anyway. So on your way.
I think we're gonna get a big game out of you tomorrow. That's
I'm fine. I might maybe I'll just punch. I've never punched in my life, but we're playing those assholes too. I got so much anger and anxiety built up. They also go nuts.
So that was actually a question I had. What do you think the vibes are going to be? Not even during the game, but pre-game. Do you think it's going to be contentious because of the last one, or do you think that's way in the past and everything's normal?
I think that'll be dictated by Kirk. If Kirk wants to poke at them, then it'll go. But I think there'll be a lot of staring from them. The kid seemed like a big pussy, coming over after the game and trying to be nice. He seemed like
a total dude. Who would even give that guy a fucking handshake? Pussies, dude. Absolute pussies on our team.
What a clam! What a clam! I don't know. I was wondering that too. I wonder if it's going to be like that from the get-go, or if it's Kirk's strategy. I trust whatever. Obviously, we trust whatever he does. If he wants to go into it and do that, try to get them off their game, great. I'm in. I think I'm going to be my moves. I think tomorrow night, and I haven't done it yet this year. I think I'm going to do the Ron Artest, Paul Pierce. I think when I'm guarding somebody, I'm just going to pull their pants down when the ref's not looking.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, the ref, if it's the certain one I'm thinking of, he might be on the other side of the court, just heaving, and you won't see it. You
got the guy like that, and then you had the other guy who's Hardo McGee. Kirk's telling him, he's it's 3 seconds. It's 3 seconds. The guy's blows the whistle. He's I'm gonna make the calls. You play the game. I make the calls. We're all right, what's the call? He's 3 seconds. Yeah. It's okay.
The fact that he agreed with Kirk after that was pretty funny.
You weren't gonna call it. So
I'm pretty sure Kirk was going for the tee, but he ended up getting the call he wanted to.
And then we got the guy who watches the show, who we haven't seen him in a few weeks.
No, dude, people were saying he was too close to the show.
Some people are saying he's too close to some of the players on the team.
Listen, I've heard stories. We'll let the people wonder.
He might be boinking somebody's neighbor on the team.
I love how I said, let's let the people wonder, and you just go, yeah, he's boinking somebody on the team.
Couldn't hold it in. Not somebody on the team. No sketches here, brother.
But I'll tell you what, I am not worried about any violence breaking out because I don't know if you listen to Beyond Average, but Mick will be in a trench coat hiding in the shadows, and he's going to take care of everything. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
Good news. I think that was the one comment I left. I watched that whole thing. He said, "Don't worry, I'll be armed."
Yeah.
It is a school. If he's listening, I recommend he leaves the AK at home. All I'm gonna say.
I think one of my biggest takeaways from that episode was the boys are eating healthy, right? But they're still on the ice cream. I could not agree more. I actually don't think ice cream's bad for you. This is a theory I've had for a really long time.
I'm gonna one up you, but go ahead.
Oh, that's it. I just think no matter what, I've done. Well, it's not really keto if you eat ice cream, but I've done every diet every single time. If I have ice cream in the fridge, I'm eating it at night, no matter what. And I don't think it affects you, dude. It's cold. It's milk. It's fine.
One better. I think the ultimate cheat code for diets is Italian ice.
That is a good move.
It
That
is
is a good
90
move.
calories. You have one of those after you're like you're content. Granted, there's probably a lot of sugar in it, but as we learned from Justin, we only look at the calories. That's it. That's all we look at. I could probably think about it this way. If I don't eat dinner, I eat 6 Italian ices. That's 540 calories. That's less than whatever my dinner was going to be.
Yeah, by a long shot, probably.
And I'm just going to pee it out. How does Italian ice, which is something that's liquid in theory when it melts, once it hits your esophagus, how is that going to build up as fat?
I have no idea.
Now, it's not working. So it's obviously a glitch in the system.
Yeah, somebody needs to get on that.
I have had 6 once before. That was a crazy night.
The other thing I would agree with Christian on is you can't have Oreos.
Bitches suck. He just hates women.
We can get into that too.
He's either fucking them or that was the best part. Mick's like, no, I think you have girlfriends. He's like, absolutely not. No way.
But he did kind of put Mick in like this little like pickle jar when he was like, because Mick's like, yeah, I have friends that are girls, and Mick's like, yeah, but I mean, Christian says, yeah, but if they offered to have sex with you, you'd probably do it. And Mick's like, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. And Christian's like,
his argument wasn't crazy flawed, but like I remember listening to that point, and I was like, whoa, like, but it's a decent conversation. Like,
dude, whenever you're in lockstep with Mike Pence, you're fine. That's what I always say.
True. He's not gay. No shot.
It's something completely out of left field, but I absolutely love that people are scared to criticize Shark Minahan now. That's one of my favorite things going. Like, anytime you talk about Shark Minahan, you're like, listen, I'm not going to say a bad word about the guy.
No, I'm not going to. He does God's work. But I do love, I forget, it was maybe a couple weeks ago. I think somebody tweeted to the back, and I'm like, and he just wrote back, fuck you.
Yeah. And I felt the burn. I was like,
I'm not getting in that way.
Oh yeah, that's a
real
fuck you. Yes,
like that guy holds a lot of power in the miniverse. I think he reminds me of like a dabbling Dan, frankly. If I want to do comparisons to the Dabbleverse,
I was like, I'm so far behind you.
Yeah, you'll see. I'll get you hooked.
Oh, speaking of
dabbling Dan.
No, I was gonna say, speaking of fuck you, hating people, assholes. Who's this new rival of yours? The guy in the parking world. You sent me a text, and you even sent me a video. I'm still out of the
I haven't gone public with it. Like my problem is this is one of those that might be too close to home. So for those of you that don't know, and I hope most of you don't, like there's this guy who he's popped up my For You feed. He's from Providence. He's some sort of like official or whatever. What he does is he goes around and he takes like videos and pictures of like, cones in this parking spot, like no valet zone posted. What are the valets trying to do? They're trying to get extra space. Like, this is why we have congestion in the city, blah, blah, blah. It's like, buddy, fuck you. Like, okay, so hear me out. And this is what I want to go at him with, but I know he's going to get super like, here's one example. He tweets out that this restaurant, and luckily he hasn't hit any of the locations that we oversee because we do it by the book. But
you guys do valet too?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the worst. Valet's the worst. There's nothing. Valet never sleeps. Like, it's a 24/7 operation, and you have guys literally just holding keys, and like every once in a while somebody will lose a key, and you got to go get them a rental. It's a whole mess. But anyway, he posts a video or pictures like these 2 parking spots are valet spots and they're being blocked by cones. They have a valet zone right here, but they've used these 2 extra spots for cones. Okay, understood. They only have the permit for 2 spots. The guys put the cones there so that when 10 cars come for a 6 o'clock reservation, they're not piled up in the one-way street and no one can get by. You take those 2 spots, you pull those in, nose in, and you angle them so you can get 5 spaces. People could still go by you, and you could still run your operation. This guy's just trying to dime people out. What his ultimate goal is to get the cones removed and get those just to be regular paid meter spots, which don't get me wrong, I'm in the meter business. I get it. I understand that. I want that revenue myself. but
Does he work
he's
for the
gonna.
state or the city?
I think so. I think so. I'll have to look, but so I don't really want to dangle with him. But if you take those two away and you get 6 cars that come all at once for a dinner rush, boom, they pull in your 2 valet spots. Restaurant valet is a lost leader. Like, it's complimentary 9 times out of 10. You
Mhm.
have to pay the staff, you have to pay the insurance, you have to pay for the equipment. It's usually like a 5, 6, $7,000 loss a month, but the restaurants will do
Really?
it to add it as a yeah, they'll do it to add it as like a whatever it is. I use this word all the time. Convenience? No, whatever.
Oh, so you're saying it's
It's
a loss for the
amenity.
restaurant.
It's correct. The restaurant will be like, "We'll pay," we go in and we'll say like, "Here's our fee to do it," but we're not making any money on it. So you have to pay us and we have to pay the guys and we have to pay the insurance. Like, if you want to do it, this is what it's going to cost. Like, I remember I wrote one for a restaurant in Providence. It didn't wind up going through with it. I cut it down to bare bones. And it was just a standard one person in the morning, one person at night operation. And it lost $175,000 for the year.
Jesus.
But in some locations, like Federal Hill, for example, like we
Mhm.
don't really do anything up there. A lot of that's kind of like
That's where I was imagining that, like, when you're talking to me about the cones and stuff, I was picturing Federal
I
Hill.
think that's where he is pointing it
Mhm.
out. And there's like one company that kind of runs everything up there, sketchy, but it's a loss leader. So like the restaurant's paying out the ass just to have it, but a lot of times you need it because there's no parking in the area. And we come in and we'll be like, we have a satellite lot 2 blocks over that we could rent, and it's good. And that's another thing too, is like if you don't own the lot, you have to pay per car. So you're paying $20 a car. It's a whole freaking mess. But a lot of restaurants do it to have the amenity. So this guy's trying to like walk in, be an asshole, stomp on toes. Like he's now going above and beyond and being like curbside pickup, which is none of my business. But he's like, do they have a permit to have curbside pickup here? It's like,
Oh,
buddy,
come
go
on,
out and like
dude.
go touch grass. Like
Yeah, touch
prick.
pavement, bro.
Touch pavement.
So the guy, I like to call them runners, the guys that like
That's what we call
take
it.
your okay, cool. So I'm in. Is that almost like a
I just
waiter?
it just looks at the chat.
Oh, I don't want to know.
It's fucking Quinlan's coworker. Tommy, tell that guy to fucking cool it.
You flew too close to the sun.
Oh, it's the worst.
Do the runners get paid like waiters and waitresses, where it's like $3 the hour and then they work on tips, or they're getting like legit hourly wage?
Here we go. I gotta get
Let's
readjusted
buckle
for
in,
this
baby.
one. We now dive into the conversation of, was COVID-19 the best thing to ever happen to the parking business? And I'll tell you,
Wow.
yes, it was. Pre-COVID, we were living in a time where Uber and Lyft controlled the world. Let's just look at 2019, 2018. If you go back to like 2014, 2015, there was no Uber or whatever it was. There was no Uber, there was no Lyft. So anyone that was going to your location was either taking a taxi, which was going to charge you up the ass, or they were driving. Your drive rates were historically high. So these guys were, if you had a 300-room hotel, you were doing 150 cars a night between 2 guys. They're all tipping a couple bucks. Those guys are making, you're making probably anywhere from $150 to $300 a shift minimum, just cash. You don't have to no collect any of that. So at that point, yes, we were able to get away with paying people like waiters and waitresses. Like the going rate was like $5 an hour for a valet because cash was king. But as times changed, 2018, 2019, Uber's huge, Lyft's huge. We're not making enough money from a company perspective because no one's driving to pay the $30 a night at a valet hotel, or no one's coming to the restaurant to pay, or coming to the garage to pay $20 for however long they're there. They're just taking an Uber. So we don't have the overhead to be able to turn that and be like, we're going to pay our guys more. We're losing money with Uber and Lyft just like they are. So it was a super uncomfortable situation. And a lot of the times we were either on a lease with the property or as a management agreement. So it's like, it was hell. It was brutal. But when COVID hit, we went to this is primarily hotels because we're talking about valet runners. We went in, we're like, listen, no one's at this hotel. We're still charging you. Like, we'll walk away. You guys, no one's going to the hotel. So like when they come back, when things start to pick up, call us. Like we came up with like self-park solutions. Like, basically the valet garage would turn into a self-park garage and we would charge you through the front desk. Found ways. But
you stick the kiosks in and you do the ticket thing?
Yeah. Yeah, we could do that at certain locations, like we did like more non-permanent ones. We got creative. But with that being said, when 2022 primarily is when things from a Valley perspective started to be like, hey, we're getting back to 70% occupancy, we need you back. When that came around, we were like, listen, we will come back, but we will no longer pay these guys $5 an hour. So if you want us to come back, these guys are making minimum wage plus tips. Like, it's the only way we do it. And that was one of the only unifying things in the parking industry. All these companies are up against each other. We all basically were like, we're not doing this for $5 an hour anymore. Like, so we would put in a proposal. We'd be nervous about it. Be like, we're not going to get this back. We're telling them we're going to pay the guys minimum wage when they used to pay $5 an hour. But when they shopped it, everybody else was doing the same thing.
Now, when you're shopping it, it's to the person who you're going to valet for. Like they're paying the minimum wage of your runners. So the hotel pays the minimum wage of your runners?
In most instances, yeah, a management
That's
agreement.
Interesting.
Because if otherwise we would go in and have to be a lease. So we would have to get a cut of the overnight revenue, right?
Yep.
Because if we're paying them out of pocket, we have to have revenue coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to go to them and say, like, listen, we need 5 guys on a shift. It's going to cost this much. We got to make a few bucks on it. Your drive rates are still down because of COVID, Uber and Lyft. Here's what we'll do. You guys keep 100% of the revenue. We come in, we'll take, whatever it is a month as a company, small amount. And you guys pay for everything. You pay for the payroll, you pay for the insurance, you pay for all the expenses, but you control 100% of the revenue. We'll just do the job for you. And most of the time, 99% of the time, it's a better deal for them too, because they don't have the risk of like, oh wow, we made 200 grand this month. Be like, oh shit, we got to give 50% of that to the parking company.
Right.
It's we made 200 grand. Our expenses were 60 grand, but we still walked away with 140.
All of that to say, Quinlan, tell your buddy, shove it.
Honestly, tell him he's got to chill. Like, are you still in here? Yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I really don't want to get into a beef with like the news or whatever, but it's
let's not do that. Next thing you know, Turtle Boy's going to be knocking on your door, dude.
Yeah,
you don't need that.
I'll be the next Proctor, Albert, whatever the hell it is.
So we've got, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, or maybe a little bit less. Let's get into some KMS stuff. Obviously, we've had.
Can we talk about the rooster?
Oh, turkey.
Sorry, apologies.
So this morning I went to go let the dogs out. Usually when I do that, I hold the baby. We go outside. We kind of look around. I try to look at the water, but Ron hasn't cut down the tree yet, so I can't. I just stare at a tree.
We haven't put that up yet. Don't put that around.
I hear the strangest sound, and it's close because you hear. I live kind of near the woods. You hear shit all the time. It's close. I turn my head, and there's a goddamn turkey, big ass turkey, just standing on my roof. My house is, tall-ish. It's a 2-story house, dude. I thought turkeys walked around or kind of skedaddled. Like I thought the wings went out a little bit, maybe 10 feet in the air. This startled me, Pat.
Startled me too when you sent me the photo of it. I was floored. But would you be shocked if I were to tell you that was a wild turkey?
Well, I didn't think it was domesticated.
Well, if it was a domestic turkey, right, they would not be able to fly. Domestic turkeys cannot fly, but wild turkeys can. And let me tell you something else. Wild turkeys can fly up to 60 miles an hour.
Holy, that's terrifying, actually.
On very short spurts, though. Very short spurts. They don't have the power to fly longer or further. Okay. Damn it. So yeah, you had a wild turkey on your roof. I looked it up after you told me.
If I'll tell you what, dude, if I went outside, if I opened the door to let my dogs out and I saw the turkey flying 60 miles an hour onto my roof,
I'd freak out.
I wouldn't be here right now.
I'd shoot it probably.
I wouldn't be here.
No,
I thought about it. I also don't have a gun. I absolutely love that. I was like, yeah, let's talk KMS. And you're like, no, we're talking about that goddamn.
I wanted to get the turkey. I wanted to get the turkey thing off my chest. Let's do it. Little KMS. The show is back. It'll be back tomorrow too, which I'm excited about.
Very excited.
Ron's in there tomorrow.
That's huge. He's with Mutt.
I think so.
Yeah, that should be a good show. Yeah, I loved. I mean, were there moments, especially because I was getting in and out of the car? I didn't listen live. I listened while I was working, kind of driving around. So there were moments where I would, go to a sales call, walk back to my car from the hospital, drive, and then Quidditch guy would say something, and I'd be like, "Oh shit, I forgot there was another guy in there." but he was still good. I like when I don't mind if they're a little bit quiet as long as there's something that comes out of the episode that tangible that you could take from it.
I've always liked him, and he's always been a nice guy to us. He's messaged us after shows, so I'm a Quidditch guy.
Oh, huge.
It was actually the perfect kind of exactly what you look for. Like, what is this? Is this a bit?
I'm about to break out Halo 3.
John, we love the team. We get it. Yeah.
Roll with it.
John, question for you. Do you have any questions for me? Figure while we're here with the Gus thing, we could end like he does with his puff pass. Thank you. This is crazy. What was I saying? Oh, perfect setup. Starts off like quiet, uncomfortable. In your head, you're like, oh God, is he gonna flounder the entire time?
I don't know if I actually got there. Like he was. I know what you mean, but
there was a couple one-liners in there that were good, very dry humor one-liners. I'm like, all right, this is good. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, I have a pitch to be the intern for the show. It's like, oh, this could go one of two ways. It was actually relatively coherent and legit.
That was a good pitch, I thought.
I agree.
Do I need a Quidditch guy blog? Yeah, I do.
I do. And we'll get to the Quidditch aspect as well. Because I've been attacked. And then all of a sudden after that, it's a crazy game, and he starts to assimilate. I think it was a home run, huge Quidditch guy. And that was a great Mike show too.
It was. Yeah, like
and
even
by the way,
the idea of the long title was clearly like on purpose to be funny, and and it hit.
Oh, so the home run.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've listened. There is a group chat out there in the miniverse, not a Twitter group chat, a actual group chat, one that Dave Cullinane may have been a part of one time, one that Justin may have been a part of one time. Let's just say that group chat dots the I's and crosses the T's. Okay.
Okay.
That group chat was very angry with me over my defense of Quidditch guy. So the whole thing was that he got a name of the Quidditch team wrong. Is that what I'm getting at? So if you notice, he looked down at a piece of paper. So he obviously wrote notes. I would too. I'd be nervous my first time, and I'm still nervous every time I go in there. Shit.
Every time.
I'm nervous right now.
I don't even know if we're live anymore.
I don't know if we are either. It just might be a game with Gus.
we're just hanging out, dude.
It's kind of great. If he had just gone totally off the script and like, I didn't know anything, I'm going to Google all of it, he would have wrote it all down perfectly, and he would add all the answers in front of him. So he obviously made notes to reference. Then he said, oh, like he knew the Quidditch stuff. He's a Quidditch guy. I didn't know Quidditch was this big.
Getting word.
John, I didn't know me changing my thing. That's funny. No, I don't care. It's funny.
This is like when when you go to accept an award and you're thanking everyone and they start playing the music.
Yeah, like, great. Now working out, fellas.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just a Quidditch guy, and like they have a Quidditch team at UMass. Did you know that?
No, I can see it.
Like it's a legit thing. Like people have Quidditch teams. Good. He is a Quidditch guy.
There was something in my school. If there's any Minute fans that went to USM, there was this building called Roby Andrews, and it was where all like the art and theater kids lived. For whatever reason, they stuck them all into one building. We used to call it Hogwarts, and they would legit go into the like whatever some courtyard thing, and they would play like Quidditch and stuff, and they would dress up. Like they would run around with like brooms and shit.
That's what they do at UMass. I mean, God bless those nerds. That's something. I never really understood the premise of it, but I'm gonna pull a BA here and I'm gonna jump into the comments. Chevy Petersburg, Sleepy Joe may have beat Drip Lord in the Rhode Island Amateur. Chevy's a friend, but that was a little bit. Thanks, John. We had to highlight.
Wow.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, Chevy, you're not wrong.
Listen, the guy had a bad showing, right?
It was so bad. I played with a 14-year-old kid who was like 6'4", just mopped my ass the entire time. He had a caddy the whole nine. Nice kid though. His mom came up to me afterwards, like, "Thank you for being so nice to him." I'm like, "Shit, I'm just a nice guy." God,
should have been like
the other guy in our group was nice. Yeah, should have been like kind of a shithead, but go on, lady. But yeah, good performance by Quidditch guy. We got Thursday, we got Friday. Tomorrow, I'm assuming a lot of hoop stock.
Yep. I'm sure there's certain people that'll absolutely love that. Did you watch
What does that mean?
the chatter? The people done with hoops talk.
Oh, give it a rest. Give it a
Did
rest.
you watch 3 Up 3 Down?
I haven't yet.
No.
I need to though, because listen, full transparency, I'm a Kane guy now.
Well, this one
even though, but just so you know, because I looked in the chat and saw it, the little midget from us. Can you say midget on YouTube? Is that cancelable, John?
Well, this is gaming with Gus, so it doesn't matter.
I'm good. Okay. The little midget from Australia decided to go live exactly when we went live. Cute bit, fine, totally okay. It's okay.
Well, I was gonna say it was basically Manners presents 3 Up 3 Down. He was popping in.
Oh, is he on it?
No, he wasn't on. He was producing it, but every time they said something, he was popping his head in there.
Jesus. Listen, I pray for that guy.
They did talk a little drips. I'll tell you that. The drips came up, and I thought it was kind of funny that, when you say something negative about someone, and then you either start the sentence or end the sentence with, yeah, but nice guys, or yeah, I like those guys.
Oh, is it that?
I think Dr. Vodka did that, and I'll tell you what, it worked on me, dude. He goes, listen, I like both those guys, but that show fucking sucks. It's so boring. I didn't pay attention to the sucks part at all. I was like, thanks, man. Thanks. I was like, I appreciate that, buddy.
Thanks, Doc.
Yeah. Exactly.
No. That's my favorite when people are like, you guys suck. This show's boring. It's like, we talk about kids shitting in pools. I just went on a 20-minute rampage about stupid parking. And John made a crepe joke. Like, that's the premise of what we do here, doctor. I don't even know if he's a real doctor, honestly.
We should look into that. That might be the conspiracy of the decade, actually.
Let's take it easy. There. Did Gus just alpha you guys and put his background up?
Yeah. Yep.
What do you mean?
He's back. He's in the background, though.
Oh, no.
Okay. We're good.
No.
Hey, too boring.
I mean, that's the problem. Like,
reporting live from Chicago too.
The show. Gus have a big audience tonight, I think.
Oh, so that was Gus that did that?
Yeah, I came in. You think I did that?
You fucking.
Okay, can I explain? I apologize.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was getting my stream set up ready. So I was setting it up on the because John created a new link for mine. So I was getting that set up. I had no clue it transferred over to you guys.
I didn't know that.
Throwing John under the bus.
But no. But once I saw it, I kind of thought it was funny. So I just sat back.
Your eyes look like goddamn puncher bags right now.
He's going through a rough day, dude.
There's other things.
Gus, do you want to? I don't know if you're saving it for your show. Do you have anything to say about the clip that's going around? What your statement?
So
cool. Good call, John.
It's definitely like it sounds worse than what I meant it. Like it's.
Did you? Well, hold on. When you said it, did you have one of those things like in the back of your mind, like, oh, that's gonna come off bad, or you didn't even think about it till the clip came out?
I honestly at that moment I was so high.
Oh, all right, Luke, listen, Gus. See you tomorrow. All that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at the chat. My good friend Luke, who's a big fan of the show, is not happy. So
Gus starts after this. I'm going to take myself out. You guys finish up.
All right, boys.
Okay. I'm glad we got our background back.
Any final thoughts, KMS network or otherwise, Mr. Ford?
No, big game tomorrow. That's really it right now.
Yeah, we're gonna show up.
Ruin drips, just the whole thing. We'll edit that last part out. Which, Gus, if you're listening, you can edit things. So when you go back and watch that, be like, "Oh shit, that sounds bad."
I didn't even think about that. Oh, by the way, I would like to say that when I was in studio and everyone was saying that they were Team Gus, I said that I'm going to stand by my man Mick. So that's all I want to say. That's all I want to say.
Listen, members of the team, whether there or not, will focus on all the nonsense after the season. But
we didn't even get into the cookout. I wanted to ask you how the cookout was. I wanted an official and an honest grade of the hot dog from you.
We have like one more minute. Honest to God, the hot dog was like a 9.6. Sure, you could say the bun. Private chat, John.
I do too. I have no problem with Gus.
Yeah, I love everyone. That's how I play. The hot dog was cooked absolutely perfectly. The bun wasn't great, but he doesn't make the buns. He makes the hot dogs. The knock on the bun was that it was too thick, I think. you can't control that. Like he could have shaved it off, but then people would be like, "Why is that bun all cut?" But Justin did a fantastic job.
You
The
can't
video
shave
of him throwing the hot dog and then throwing it again and landing on the grill was just perfect.
And he was also wearing latex gloves. I have a latex gloves story that will have to wait until next week.
Oh, golly.
And
That's
with
a
that-
cliffhanger.
And with that,
Wow.
That's a cliffhanger. Goodbye,
Bye, guys.
everyone. Good night.